everybody, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I know I might get a few new faces coming in because this is a WIP parade. If you are new here, I am Heather the Confetti Stitcher. I tend to stitch a lot of large projects, thus my moniker. There's a very good chance you might see one cat coming in. She's been sniffing around a little bit and she always needs to be in the middle of knowing what's going on. But like I said, today's going to be my WIP parade. Normally I do vlog style videos, so if that is something you are interested in, feel free to subscribe, like the video, and let me know what you think. So I'm going to start off today showing you all of my finishes from last year. There's a couple that were new, well, I should say there was one that was a new start and a finish. The rest were carried over from last year. So the first one that I worked on that was a new start and finish is the 12 months of basically year of celebrations by Hands-On Design. So I started this basically January 1st, kind of out of the blue, and just said, yeah, I'm gonna finish these and see if I can actually get a year's worth. And they worked really well for challenges, so I ended up finishing them. So I finished them just on, it could be a lot neater, I know, but basically just foam core, and then I attached this to a piece of mat board. But I did January and February. March and April. Sorry if they're backwards for you. They are correct for me, but May and June. July and August, September, October, and November and December. So these are currently, since they have the magnets on the back, I have a board, which this is completely unintentional, but with the buffalo plaid fabric, I think this is buffalo plaid, but the black and white fabric that I have on another piece of, sorry, I got a hair stuck to my lip, on another piece of foam core that's a little bit larger than those. It's got about 1.5 inches on each side. That is on like a wooden plank type thing. So that way I can just snap on the new one and call it good. And then, so that was finished, I'd say November. Another finish I had was my Los Angeles skyline, which I got off of Etsy. I don't exactly remember who I got it from, but I got Los Angeles and Denver because that is mine and my husband's hometowns. But I finished Denver 2 years ago. Then I also finished my Swirling Peacock by Joan Elliott. I was really happy to get this one done because this one had been around for quite a long time. Or I should say I'd been stitching it for quite a long time. It's like the second or third piece I ever started. It's really hard to tell, but like the moon is all Krynic. The fabric itself is opalescent, tons of beads. Trying to show without getting, and then all the back stitching, well, some of the back stitching is metallic. But yeah, I was really happy with how this one turned out. Now I'm going to pause for a second because I had another finish and I forgot to pull it off. All right, so I had to go pull these off of the Christmas tree. which we still have up, but we did take down some of the decorations today. So these are a recent finish. I finished these at the beginning of December. I'm trying to fix one of them really quick. So these are the Christmas jar ornaments by Dimensions. Whoops. And these are kits that come with everything you need, including the wire to hang them on. So these are on perforated plastic, which I think is 14 count. This one's my favorite, the blue. And I did make a change with this one, because this one was also supposed to be green, but I didn't like that there was two that matched and then the other two didn't match, so I changed it to purple so that they were all different. So that came as a set of 4, and then I wasn't going to show this to you, but since I had to go grab the other ones off anyway, I also finished my 2020 ornament. Gotta go with the dumpster fire orange, right? Yeah. And the massive bit of orange right there, that is something I had frog. I still don't know where that came from though. Oh, yes I do. I'll show you. I just remembered. I had like put it in there and I had totally forgotten about it. But then I totally just remembered. So that is all of my finishes for the year. Not a great year for finishes, but every little bit helps, I guess. I did get a lot of progress though. According to Magical Stitches, I finished just under 144,000 stitches last year, or this year. So we're going to get into WIPs. I think I only had 2 new starts. One of them was the year of celebrations that I just showed you. The other one is this one, which I started in November. So this is, so I'm gonna insert pictures of where I was last time for everything, as well as the pictures of what they'll look like. Since these are WIPs, obviously you can't tell what this is. And I will put in pictures of my finishes too, of where I was last year. But this is Amy Stewart's stitch. I was gonna say, I don't even know what I was thinking. This is the Story Keep, not stitch, Story Keep of Tiki Beach Sunset by Heather. This is 28 count DMC Charles Craft fabric. You'll see this one a lot. This is my favorite fabric to stitch on. It is 2 over 1/10 stitch. And it's 28 count Monaco. So I started this, like I said, in November, got quite a bit done on it. And I'm happy with how it's turning out so far. This is for a wedding. My cousin is getting married next year. And the other piece of, or the other half of the fabric will be my New Year, New Start, which will be the mini Heather of Donna Gelsinger's Lakeside. It's like 2 Adirondack chairs by a lake at nighttime. And that will be for my sister's wedding because they were both getting married in 2022. Before I forget, the year of celebrations, these are on 28 count, 2 over 2 full cross, some random stash fabric. And the Sparkling Peacock was on 28 count Cashel, opalescent white Cashel by Zweigart, and the I think it's Dove Gray. The LA skyline was, I think it's Dove Gray. It's some kind of gray, but it is 28 count, 4/2 tint. And all of that has been DMC with a couple of Crayonics thrown in on the peacock. So I'm going to move those out of the way because everything else I have is on a big rolling cart. This is all of my works in progress. So first off, you know him, you love him. I took him off of the frame so we can show the whole thing. Can you guess? Yeah. This is George. And holy crap. I don't even know if I can get far enough back. I should have practiced with this. Can I? Ooh, just barely. This is George Washington crossing the Delaware. Whew, I'm like literally all the way against the wall. So this is stitched on 16 count, I believe. It's either 16 or 18. And it is 2/1 full cross using Sullivan's floss. It is part of the George Washington crossing the Delaware painting by Emmanuel Lutz. And I am stitching piece 108 out of, I believe it's 112 total pieces that the United Stitchers of America Facebook group. There's two Facebook groups. There's the United Stitchers of America and there's also Stitching George Washington. Basically somebody set it up so we each get a piece. Everything was donated to us. The fabric is Zweigart. Like I said, 16 count, so it's Ada. I think it's just white. I'm not actually sure. Like I said, everything was donated, so that was nice. And the way I'm stitching mine, we only had a couple of rules. We can't have page lines and we can't have loop starts. And of course our stitches all have to go the same way. So those are the only rules we had. So the way I chose to stitch mine is I did the largest color, which was 931, and I stitched over the entire piece. When I started it, I think I was about halfway done. I think I was about to here when I started it this year with the 931, and then I did it for Mania, and then I started Mania right about here, I think, and then I finished it all for Mania, which doesn't seem like that much actually. So ever since Mania, I started coming in back up here and doing cross country by page-ish. I guess cross country by page, but I'm bleeding over page lines just to make sure I don't get any, which I still kind of do have a couple, but you can't tell and it evens out. So yeah, this is my large piece I'm focusing on. We had 5 years to stitch it. They are extending that deadline a little bit, but it is going through, the original deadline goes through February of 2022. So This is my large piece that I want to, or my full coverage that I want to focus on for magical stitches. We had to choose one this year, and that's the one I'm going with. The piece I have is on the extreme, when you're looking at the painting, it's on the extreme right hand side, and there's a guy standing in the back of the boat that has a red feather in his hat. I have the piece right above him with just a little bit of his hat, which is right there. But yeah, this is, I'm currently fully done with 20 pages. The whole pattern is 100 pages. I am fully done with about 20 pages. I am fully done with 20 pages. And the whole piece, I am just under 70% done with. So still have a little bit to go. Okay. Now let me get back into a more workable spot. So the 3 pieces I'm planning on working on next year are George and then the 2 Haids, the 2 full coverages that are for the weddings. My sister is getting married in April of next year, of 2 years, and my cousin is getting married in February. And my sister's piece will be done the same way, 2 over 110 stitch. All right, next up, I'm gonna take this one off. I'd forgotten to take this one off the frame. The rest are all off, but they're in bags. So hold for me for just a second. I thought I was prepared, but apparently I was not. But I also thought this piece was, whoops. I thought this piece, even though it was on the frame, you could see all of it, but it's not. And I just now noticed, so. So this is Disneyland map. I got this off Etsy. It is 28 count, 2 over 2 full cross. The seller does not sell anymore, the one that I got it from, but there are plenty available from different sellers. And this is where my progress is. So last time I had finished Splash Mountain, which is right up there, and I had partially finished the Haunted Mansion. And I basically added everything else. I think I had like part of Jungle Cruise done too, but Jungle Cruise is the elephant down there at the bottom. Let me bring you guys closer again. My needle minders keep sticking together. But here is more up close. This is one of those pieces where like literally every stitch makes a difference. Like if you look at that crocodile right there, he's only made up of like 20 stitches, so. Whew, my arms are tired from holding that up. Okay, next up we have, I'm basically just gonna pull bags and we'll see what's in them. So this, oh, I lied. This was another new start. This is Cinderella. from Make It Pink. She's got her own shop now. She was on Etsy, but she created her own website. So I think it's just makeitpink.net. I think she still has an Etsy too, but she's trying to switch over. So this is Cinderella. I bought all of the princesses, but this is part of the Muka princess line. And I finished her hair, I finished her headband, well, part of her headband, and I'm starting on her face. If you remember, or if you've been watching for a while, I finished Aurora last year. And I'm stitching this with Melissa Cupcake Stitcher as a Sal, but she's focusing on Rapunzel right now, on finishing her. So neither of us has gotten very far. But this fabric is a fabric I dyed myself. It is a 36 count Edinburgh linen Zweigart that I got off 1-2-3 Stitch. And I think I got a half yard, I think, or a fat half. Yeah, 36 count, full of beads, full of backstitch, full of metallics. They're really pretty, but they take a little while. And I dyed this using the shaving cream method. So you basically just lay shaving cream down, you pour some dye onto it, and then you swirl it around like with a toothpick. And you basically, I use powdered dye, so you make it like super thick, like dye concentrate basically, and that's what you like drop over the shaving cream. Next up, we have another Haid. This one is discontinued. Well, it was never really on their site. It was Bridget Ashwood did a Kickstarter, and she is one of Haid's artists. And her Kickstarter was for a calendar, but there were different, like Kickstarter has different levels. And so if you did a certain level, you could get the cross stitch pattern of it too. So there is a version of this on the site on Heaven and Earth still. It's just not the same exact one. So there's subtle differences, but it's basically, this one is on kind of a crazy fabric. This is on the 28 count Monaco from Charles Craft that I dyed myself. And I did this using the low immersion method. But yeah, basically each color corresponds to, it's basically the wolf inside the dream catcher, and then each part of the dream catcher, like on the top and bottom and each side, has a colored like Celtic symbol jewel thing that's on it. So these the colors correspond to the colored jewels. Eventually, when I finish it and get it framed, I will be leaving part of the fabric showing. But I added a lot of that page. This is one of my older WIPs that's been around for quite some time. And it's gorgeous, like, look at his eye. Like, this one's a lot of fun to stitch. This is 1/1 full cross. So this one's a lot of fun to work on. It's just, I've been doing a lot of gift stitching. Just stabbed myself in the finger over the last like 2 years. So that one has had to take a back seat. Next up, we have another Haid. Apparently this is my large project bag. This one is Museum Shelf by Amy Stewart. And it is, do I still have, I don't think I do. My LNS, when I first moved here, was going out of business. And so this is just some fabric that I got there. It's 28 count green, some kind of green. 1/1 full cross. And this is Museum Shelf. This is the max color version, but it is regular size. If you go to Kim Hollenbach's Spartan Stitcher, I think she's Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, Kim Hollenbach on Flosstube. She's doing this piece, but she started at the bottom. And I think she's doing the supersize max color. Making sure I get it all in. So obviously this piece is huge, like all of the bookshelves are. This one is very much just, what color am I pulling out now? I think, okay, there we go. My needle sticking out the back. So this one I've used for a couple of color challenges, but basically just pulling it out every now and then when the mood strikes me. So we won't see this one or any of these very much this year unless I finish all 3 of those huge projects. But the little bit that I've put in on the Story Keep is actually, like I said, I started it in November and it's actually going pretty quickly. So fingers crossed, I'll be able to finish them all and be able to have some stitching for me this year. I don't have a project for every bag. I have a couple bags and I just fill them up. So the next bag is Christmas. I think I've got a couple of Christmas ones, but in fact, I know I have a couple of Christmas ones. So this one did see a little bit of love this year. This one is a Tilton Crafts. It is the 28 count Monaco DMC that I dyed myself. I really like this fabric because, like this kind of fabric to stitch on, because it's super thick and so it doesn't show page lines as bad. And it also doesn't show trailed threads in the back. Like, here's the back of this one and you can't tell at all. So this is Tilton Crafts Santa in the Clouds. I don't know if this one is still available. It might be retired. But I am stitching this one 1/1 full cross. No, I am tenting this one. 2/1 tent stitch. And I'm going cross country across each row of pages. I basically am different with how I stitch with every single piece, so. This one is a lot of fun to stitch. I don't know what it is about it. Could be all the fun colors. It's a lot of pinks and purples and blues. Then we have, this one's a little bit of love, but this is Winter in a Cup. This is by Cute Patterns by Maria on Etsy. Didn't get a ton put in this year, but this one is on 14 count DMC Stardust Ada, I think it is. It's the one with the silver sparkles in it that I dyed myself. So you can see the sparkle in it. And the rest of these are all the ones that I dye myself, including the wolf and Santa in the Clouds. Those are all the low immersion dyeing technique, which if you're interested in how to do that, I do have a video on my channel showing my process. The last one that I'm going to show you, I did dye this one myself. This is the Stitch Along Santa's House from Tiny Modernist that was done, I think in 2018, 2017. It's like the cutout of Santa's house. And I don't actually know if I stitched on this one this year. If I did, I think the only thing I did was the smoke coming out of the chimney up there. Just not one that's on my radar, and I have a lot of Christmas projects. My next Christmas piece, I only have one in this bag. This is Dimensions 14 count gray Ada. Since it's Dimensions, it's a kit, and I just use everything in the kit because I figure why not. This is my, I forget what he's called, but he is a stocking. I want to say it's like Santa's Journey, maybe. But mostly I just worked on the sleigh and a few of the toys. I don't think I did anything in the, I might have done a reindeer color. But this will, when it's finished, it will be my stocking. My husband, I already have his kit, but we're planning on having kids this year, hopefully, so we'll need to get another one for them so that I can do more obligatory stitching. It's different when it's still going in your house. Then we have more Christmas. This one only has one project in it too, though. This did have my kit for the jar ornaments that I showed that I finished, but I also have the Christmas Pals ornaments, which actually started before the jars, but the jars were a gift, so I wanted, like, the jars were a gift, the kit was a gift to me, so I wanted to finish it to show that I appreciated my mom getting it for me. So this is the Christmas Pals ornaments. I think all I did was finish the snowman. I did make a change. This was also supposed to be a snowman, but I turned it into a kid slash elf slash whatever you want to call him. And then the white polka dots on the border, I changed to the DMC, the red, white, and green floss, the variegated one that I don't remember the number of, just because I wanted to get some variegated floss in there. But other than those two changes, everything else is charted, and it's all the kit stuff. So this is a 14 count Ada that comes with it. That is white. The only problem I have with kits is making sure, like, I do all dimensions kits, and the only problem I have is making sure to keep the threads separated per project so you actually know which one you're working on. All right, that is all of my Christmas. We only have 3 more bags to go through, but they're pretty heavy. Or I should say pretty full. So next up, let's do this one. This one is very full. So this project I did work on a little bit this year. This is my Hade by Anya Kai, and it is her Rapunzel. Can you tell I have a thing for princesses? So she didn't get a ton of love. This one is super pretty, but I added some of the purples in there. This one is like very watercolor-esque. It's 28 count Monaco DMC 1/1. full cross, and I dyed it myself. And yeah, mostly what I added is everything that's up here and this purple and part of her sleeve. I started this for a Haid challenge a long time ago, back when Haid did challenges. Next up we have, this might have been a new start. No, this was not a new start. This is a new start 2 years ago. This is Amy Stewart. Can you tell I have a thing for Amy Stewart? Fairy Tale Bookshelf. This is a purple fabric I got in that going out of business sale. And it's, I don't know if it's lilac or if it's just purple or what, but it's 28 count. No. Yeah, 28 count, I think. 2/1 tent stitch. This one's a little bit easier to show than Museum Shelf. I'd started doing diagonal stitching with Pattern Keeper, but it was showing lines, like diagonal lines. So I switched to cross country. I was gonna say full stitch, but cross country, it's loose thread, until I run out of that color. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going back into these parked threads and finishing them out. And then I'll just start like with my next stitch over whatever color that is and just travel around. So I did get quite a bit done on this year. Not a super ton, but I use this for a couple of prompts. I've tried parking several times and I realized I don't like it. It wasn't too bad with that one, but since it was showing the lines, it just wasn't worth it. This one is definitely not a new start. This is 28 count China Pearl Jobelin. And it's a large piece because it is my chatelaine. And yes, this is the top. So this one got a little bit of love. Basically, it's still that center motif, it's just a lot more filling in. And I do find these a lot of fun to work on. This is the Sparkling Peak, no. Yes. This is the Sparkling Peacock mandala. The other one, which I set, the one that I finished, is Swirling Peacock by Joan Elliott. Peacocks were the theme of my wedding, so these go up on my wedding wall when they're done, if they ever get done. Or I should say peacocks were kind of a theme of my wedding. We didn't really have a big theme, but it folds the other way. And this one, the way I remember which side is the top, is the fabric still has the tag attached. So that just means it's the top on this one, wherever the tag is. This one, I'm pretty sure, no, I did order. So that one I got from 123 Stitch, the fabric. Next up is another Tilton Crafts. This is Tilton Crafts, no longer available. She does occasionally, it was a limited edition, she does occasionally bring them back out again. but I've only seen her do it once with this particular piece. So it was a limited run of 50, and then she, I don't know why that's on there. And then she retired them, and then she brought the first one back once for another 50. But this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. My 28 count DMC Monaco, and this is 2/1 tent stitch. These are basically the movie posters that she got licensed from the artist who designed the movie posters. So she does get permission. And I started this going all the way across, but it was really boring, so then I decided to go by page. And this one I can do exact pages because I don't have the page lines show up because of the fabric. So basically what it is this is a page, but then once I get into the actual colors, then I'll go across page lines. But since it's all the black, it surrounds basically the entire piece. Okay, that is all that bag. I was listening to my last video to grab screenshots of my works in progress. And I could tell I was sick last year. I remember that too. I was really sick. Might have been COVID. I haven't actually gotten the antibody test, but who knows. All right, now we got another Tilton Crafts. This is a piece of 32 count 1/1 full cross. It is I forget the name of it. It's the one you can buy at like Joann's or Michael's. The like super thin. I hate the fabric. I got this way back in the day when I didn't know the difference, but it's 32 count that I dyed myself. And CG Textiles. And I just hate it because it's so thin. Like you can see, I didn't have a sewing machine back in the day. You can see just how ratty it is. Like, yeah, just not good. This is Hocus Pocus. This is still available. Like I said, Tilton Crafts. This one's been done by quite a few people. And the alteration I'm making to it is all of this is filled in with black. I am omitting that black and leaving the fabric showing. I might go in and add the black later. It really is going to depend on what it looks like once all the swirls are in across the whole piece, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like how it is looking. So this got quite a bit of love this year, actually. I'm trying to show it so you can actually see her face. It's like folded kind of. And it's also hard to see because there's a black streak going through there on the fabric. But so this is Mary Sanderson. She got more definition in the face and then a lot more like purples and stuff added. Then my other Halloween piece I have currently going is by Brian Jackins. It is charted by Love the Number 4 Cross Stitch. They have a Facebook group that I bought this through. They might have, my mom called, so I'm not exactly sure where I was. Love 4 Cross Stitch on Facebook. Might have an Etsy, not actually sure. But this is Boo Butterfly. And this is the piece that all the orange frogging came from in the ornament because I had messed up the border a lot. I was off by like 5 stitches. So I had to go through and frog like half the border. But this got some added to it. I think all the green and the yellow got added this year. And then the border got added. All right, 2 bags left. No, 1 bag. 1 bag. So this last bag is my smaller pieces. But we're going my definition of small, so that doesn't really count. So first up we have Country Cottage Needleworks Winter. Get this out of the package so you guys can see. This one got quite a bit added this year. I'm doing all 4 of these on the same fabric, well, same kind of fabric. And this is fabric that I got at Stitch Nanigans 2 years ago. No, last year. But I won the fabric in a raffle. And it's 32 count, like natural, I think, natural linen. And yeah, got quite a bit added. Last year, all I had was the words hot cocoa, and everything else is new. This piece is well on its way to being finished. We'll see if I can get any love into it this year. But the whole bottom part is done, I think. There might be some berries or something that goes on the branches, but... And the house is already starting to be defined. I have a lot of white that still has to go in here for all the snow and stuff, but... Super cute. And then my last piece is Sea Hag. This is on just a random piece of fabric that I have no idea where it came from. But it was free from somewhere. It might have been in that same package, I don't remember, but... yeah. This was a new start last year as well, and all I had was the word in, I think. That's all I had done. Everything else is new. This one I am stitching with, this is also a 32 count that I'm doing 1/1. Yeah. 1/1 full cross, because otherwise it wouldn't be wide enough. This is like literally just a scrap of fabric. But I am choosing, I get the Color and Cotton monthly subscription, and so I'm just using whatever floss from there that looks good. And I'll be changing the mermaid up, and I'm changing the words a little bit, because instead of Sea Hag, I want it to be mermaid, because I like the idea more of a beautiful mermaid that kills kills sailors, rather than like a sea witch, sea hag, sailor killer. So that is everything that I worked on last year, that I started. There is one more, but I don't know what happened to it. But I'm not really working on that one anyway, and I didn't, oh, there it is. I'll show it to you anyway. I don't think I actually worked on this last year, but it is still a WIP. This is Tilton Crafts, I think, and it is, I love the fabric. I dyed the fabric myself, and it was like my first time dyeing fabric. this might be a UFO. I haven't actually figured it out if I want to or not, and just reuse, like cut it off and reuse the fabric for something else, because that is super pretty. Maybe I'll do that and make a mermaid out of it. It's like the first full coverage I ever started. Well, it's the first one I had to kit myself that I started. And I just don't love the design anymore, so this very well might be a UFO. But, yeah, we'll see. I love my needle minder on it though. I have to pull her off and use her on something else. I should put her on Sea Hag. That's what I should do. But now, that is everything I had to show you. So, the chatelaine, by the way, I am stitching from the paper copy. I never got a digital copy because I found I don't want to 3 stitch. So, it is possible to do it from paper copy. You just have to read the instructions a couple of times and look at people who've already finished and look and see what they did. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you want to see my future progress, please don't forget to subscribe. Like the video if you liked it so that other people can see it. I know WIP parades are pretty popular this time of year. I've already watched several myself. And I've discovered some new people that I like. So that's all I have for you guys for today. I usually try to post at least every month, but usually I'm trying to do it like weekly now. And the only challenge that I am part of is, like, challenge group that I'm part of is Magical Stitches. So you'll be seeing a lot of full coverage next year because it's literally just going to be those 3 projects. So if you like that sort of thing, come on back. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next series. Bye.